What's up, everyone? Welcome into the Cannonballs podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Dane Cannon. Co-hosting with me today is
your boy, Jake Bulls on the Meg 1-2.
Guys, week 4 almost officially over. We are going to be covering Thursday through Sunday. We still have Monday night tomorrow, so we have Seattle and New York playing. But Jake and I were basically going to react. This is as of Sunday evening, so right after Sunday night game, which was actually pretty entertaining for the most part. So we're going to give our thoughts and opinions, kind of break down a little bit of each game, our key takeaways and stuff of that sort. If you guys aren't already, follow us on our Instagram here. Like, comment, subscribe, anything you guys can do to help the channel out, help us grow. We would much appreciate it. Jake, you have anything to add before we get going?
Yeah, I mean, the first quarter of the NFL season is almost done. And, the first quarter ended with a bang. There's a lot of good games. It was very entertaining. I had a very good Sunday. So yeah, I'm ready to get into the first game.
Right. Let's do it.
With that being said, we'll get into the first game, which would be Thursday night. And, that game was actually not that entertaining, in my opinion. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't that great. We had the Detroit Lions beating the Green Bay Packers 34-20, and Dane and I both picked the Lions, so we got that one right. And honestly, the Lions stomped the freaking Packers out for 3 quarters of that game. The momentum kind of went in the favor of the Packers.
Towards Green Bay, like after this, at the start of the second half.
Yeah, and Jordan Love looked terrible for that first half, and it could have been the line, it could have been his receivers not getting open. I don't know. I think it was just an all around bad performance by the Packers. They really couldn't get that run game going. Yeah, it just didn't look good from the Packers side of the ball. They did piece together a couple good drives, try to make it a little closer than it really was. But, the Lions just came out and showed that they're one of the better teams in the NFC. And I think, this game kind of solidified what I was
our preseason hype was about.
Yeah. I was hesitant on picking the Lions to win the division because, history, whatever. But no, the Lions are good. Their defense is pretty good at times. And
their defense steps up in key moments when they really need to. Like, they're pretty good at taking the ball away, which is one thing that I like. And Aiden Hutchinson has been balling out this year.
Yeah, Detroit definitely has a young defensive star on their hands. He's like a blue collar guy. I actually really enjoy watching Aiden Hutchinson. He's just been balling out so far this year. Man, what takeaways do we take from this? I mean,
for me, I think that even when the passing game isn't going the way the Detroit Lions expect it to, they can get it going on the ground. And David Montgomery had himself a freaking day. I think he had like 30 carries or something like that for like 100 plus yards, like 115, 120, 3 touchdowns,
32 for 121 and 3. Insane.
Yeah, I mean, he went off. Jared Goff, he made some big time throws. I really like Sam Laporta. I think Sam Laporta looks really good out there. Unfortunately, the passing game didn't really need to take off because the run game was so dominant in this matchup. But on the other side, like you already mentioned, Jordan Love, he did not look particularly good by any means. At the start of the second half, they kind of came out with some momentum. They got, I think, 2 scoring drives going. And then after that, the Lions said, that's enough. And then they just shut the door and walked out of there with the dub. And the Lions looked dominant for the most part. There might have been a quarter where they kind of let things get a little bit close, but then they just put the foot on the accelerator and just ended the game. So good win for the Lions. Very impressive. I'm liking what Dan Campbell's doing for that franchise.
Yeah, so am I. And I'll say it now. This is the Lions division to lose.
Yes.
All the other teams don't look great. So good job, Lions. You're finally on top. Keep it up. I'm here for it. So with that being said, we'll go on to the Sunday slate. We'll go to the 6:30 a.m. game for us. This is the London game. And
did you check out the Toy Story thing at all?
I did, and I watched about 5 minutes of. I watched about 5 minutes of it, and I had to turn it off. It was pretty bad.
I wasn't the biggest fan of it either.
Yeah,
it felt more like a video game.
Yeah, it wasn't even that. Like for the first 3 drives, it took forever to catch up to the actual game. I think they were still figuring out the bugs of it, and it just didn't look good. And I was actually talking to my wife about it, and I was like, I feel like if you're gonna watch football, you're gonna watch football. Like you and me, Dane. Like we were into football since we were little. Like we didn't need it to be like Transformers or GI Joes or whatever to be entertaining to us. I think it was cool. I think it would have been cool for maybe 4 or 5 year olds, little kids. But if you're into football, you're into football. You're gonna watch the game. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly.
I think if they do it again, I hope they make it better because it was just not it for me. The best part was the sideline shit with the slinky dog, and that was kind of cool. But I don't know. What do you think?
I think the whole concept of it is really cool because it's like AI, real time action. But the overall delivery of what it was supposed to be was not there. And you already touched on it. We don't need animation. I mean, we're in our late 20s now, about to be 30. So at this point in time, I don't need to see that shit. But I think that it's a cool idea if you're trying to get a kid into football and it's a way to introduce it. I think that's really cool. And, having that on Disney Plus, I think keep it, just keep improving it and move forward with it. But let's actually get into the game now. Desmond Ridder is not it. I want to start. I want to start with that.
Well, yeah, no, first, we both picked the Jags to win. They won 23-7, and I just wanted to say that, but take it away.
Yeah, Desmond Ridder is not it. Did you see the whole thing with Matt Collins on the sideline, trying to dude?
We got a Zach Wilson situation, I believe.
I think it's worse than Zach Wilson because at least Zach Wilson has teammates trying to cheer him on. Some of them are trying to boost up morale on the sideline, at least for today's game, because he actually played pretty decent. We'll get into that game later. But yeah, Matt Collins was not having it whatsoever. He's like, get that shit out of my face. Bijan Robinson still looks good. Atlanta's defense actually played pretty well. It's just Desmond Ridder was turning the ball over and giving them good field position. So it was kind of harder for the Atlanta defense to stop Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence had an okay game. I don't think it was elite by any means. I mean, he only threw for 207 and 1 touchdown, but he didn't really need to that much. I mean, the defense kind of stepped up, balled out for him, and, they got some things going on the ground. So overall, it was a good win for the Jags. I think the Falcons really need to get back to running the ball even more at this point because putting the ball in Desmond Ridder's hands is not the answer.
Yeah, so I mean, Desmond Ridder did have a couple good drives. He did. He looked good for maybe 2 or 3 drives. Probably 2. So he looked good, but it's just not consistent. And the thing with the running game is, I don't know, it looks a little stale. I think you need to add a little bit more to it. I don't know, a little bit more motion or something, because it's kind of just giving it to Algier up the middle. I don't know, maybe throw in some pitches, maybe some end arounds. I don't know. If you're going to be a running team, you have to be creative with the run game. You can't just do the same play calling over and over again. And as far as Trevor Lawrence, he didn't have that great of a game, but going back to the run game, I think we're
better than the last 2 days or 2 games before. I will say that.
No, yeah, for sure. But I think where he excelled today is is in the run game, where his rushing
Mm-hmm.
ability came in. He made third down conversions over and over again with his legs, so it was pretty impressive. Only thing I'll say about this game, or from the Jag side of the ball, Calvin Ridley, man, he's got like 2 receptions in this game.
Mm-hmm.
He did
One
get the
was for a touchdown.
Yeah, but like, holy shit, man! Like, we got to get this man some more touches. Like, he's probably your best player on the team. I don't know. It was just, Jags played an easier opponent, I guess, in the Falcons. So they got a good win, but I need to see more from the Jags. Like, I'm really not sold on them right now. I know we want Trevor Lawrence to be here. We want his arrival in the NFL as an elite passer, an elite quarterback, all this stuff to have been arrived or whatever. But I'm not seeing it quite yet. So I need to see more from this entire team, to be honest. But yeah,
I do want to touch on that really quick. I do think that, like, as of this year, we haven't seen it. The first game was pretty good, but then the interim sense, so like the last 3 games haven't been that great. But at the second, like the back end of last year, when the Jags like turned everything around, that was, I think, Trevor Lawrence's coming out party. I think that was his, like, I'm here in the NFL moment. Plus he won a playoff game. So it's tough. It hasn't been a smooth ride. It hasn't been like a bunch of highs consistently. It's been kind of up and down. So I will say that maybe a little bit of the consistency factor needs to improve. But other than that, I think Trevor Lawrence is a very capable and competent quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, I do too, but for me, it's potential. It's not, I'm not going to say Trevor Lawrence is a top 10 quarterback right now, because I don't think he is. And like, I think he has the potential to be a top 5 quarterback for sure, with everything he's done in his career, including college, with what he did last year. But for me right now, like, Trevor Lawrence is just mid-tier for me, to be honest. And I think him and the entire Jags team needs to step up. But good win for the Jags.
I do agree. I think they do need to improve.
Mm-hmm. So good win for the Jags. They needed that after that shit show last week. So let's go into the 10 o'clock slate. First game, probably on paper would have been the best one, but it kind of went away in the way of the Bills. We both picked the Bills to win, so kudos to us, Dane. But the Bills beat the Miami Dolphins 48-20, and it was kind of a smackdown, to be honest. It was close for like a quarter and a half, and then the Bills really took it away towards the end of the half. And Josh Allen was on fire. Stephon Diggs was on fire. The defense was making stop after stop, sacking Tua, getting interceptions. Tua did his thing.
Interceptions. Yep.
Yeah, it was just all Bills, man. Great game from the Bills. This is what I need to see from the Bills. I need to see them dominate like this, consistently. And they're a good team. They've been a good team for the last 3-4 years, and I need to see more of these games from them, because I lose hope sometimes from this team, and I know they can be great. It's just sometimes they play real stinkers, and but this was an elite showcase, in my opinion, from the Bills, and especially after the Dolphins came off putting a 70 burger. They stopped them. This was probably the Dolphins' worst game of the year. And, it was a very impressive win, in my opinion, for the Bills.
Yeah, I do want to add on a couple things. Stephon Diggs had himself a day. James Cook had himself a day. Dawson Knox looked good. Josh Allen had himself a fantastic day. And like you already mentioned, the defense stepped up when they really needed to. And they put a lot of pressure on Tua. A couple interceptions. Raheem Mostert had a fumble, a couple sacks here and there. So it was all over the place. I think the Bills were playing very complimentary football, which was great to see. On the other side of the ball, Tua, not his best day. Devon Achane, he had a really good day. I think he had 2 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken.
He did.
But yeah. But other than that, the offense wasn't really there. The defense gave up a lot of yards. And I don't know if that's more because of the scheme that they run, because I know the Chargers run a very similar scheme with too high. And so they keep everything underneath. But then that just allows big chunk plays to happen. So it's inviting the run, but trying to prevent like big explosive plays. And sometimes it doesn't always work out, especially when you go up against an elite quarterback like Josh Allen. I think overall the Bills have arrived. This is what we expected of them. It was a stinker and a dud of a game one for them, but since then they have been on fire. So I'm really high on the Bills right now. It was a great win for them.
Yeah, no, that's really it about that game. We'll go on to the next one. We both picked the Broncos to win, and they did in a very close matchup. They beat the Bears 31-28, and
did not look like a good pick at first.
No, I mean, I think they were down what? Were they down 21 or 28-0 at one point?
I think it was 20. I think it was 21-0.
Dude. Yeah. It was 21-7 in the second. Okay. So, still 2 touchdowns, and I'm sure the Bears went up 28-7.
Oh, Denver scored first. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and this game was this is just a testament this is a testament to how a couple good plays, a couple turnovers can just turn the game completely on its side. And that's literally what happened with the Broncos. They were shitting the bed, and then boom, turnover. I think it was a fumble recovery. They scooped and scored, and then boom, scored another touchdown, and they were right in this game. And the Bears aren't a good team, and they ended up losing this game. However, this was Justin Fields' best game as a Bear. He actually looked really good. So I don't know. So a couple things. We talked about the Dolphins. I don't know if the Dolphins playing the Broncos was a testament to how good the Dolphins are or how bad the Broncos are, because the Bears looked great against the Broncos. And I just don't know what happened to this defense, because they pretty much have the same players on this defense, and they look like one of the worst defenses in the league right now. I mean, statistically, I
would say they are the worst defense in the league, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, but where did that happen? Like, what did they lose? I didn't think they had that much turnover. I would have to look again to see who they lost, but shit, man. What happened to that defense? Like, it just completely 180'd from. I mean, they were the top 4, top 5 defense, and it just. Yeah, I mean, you made Justin Fields look like Peyton Manning out there. So, I mean, what's your take on that?
Honestly, for me, I really like what I saw from Justin Fields out here. And your earlier question about was the Dolphins putting up 70 a testament to the Dolphins offense, or was it a testament to the Denver's poor defense? I think it's a combination of the two. I think Miami really does have an elite offense, and I think Denver has one of the worst defenses this year as of right now. Vance Joseph apparently is not working out as their defensive coordinator over there. I don't know what's going on. He was pretty decent with Arizona with his tenure, but as of right now at Denver, it's just been bad. And I think statistically speaking, Denver has the worst defense. So they went from top 5 to literally like bottom tier. That it's very surprising to me. But overall, I think that this was a very exciting game. This is one of those games that could have gone either way. We did pick Denver because we thought that we liked the way that their offense was looking. At least Russell Wilson and that offense was getting points up. And they ended up getting points going, especially from the second quarter on, or from the second half on. But overall, I think there's a lot to take away from both sides. Denver and Chicago, I don't think that this made me feel any more confident in either team moving forward as of right now. I think that this was two just bantamweights kind of slugging it out because they looked good against each other. But when you compare them to other teams, they just haven't been able to compare. So I need to see them play like a better team and perform the way that they did. If Justin Fields looks this good against, say, like a Philadelphia defense, which apparently is in like top 5 right now, but it's a good defense, I would love to see him perform the way he did today. But overall, great win for Denver. Got their first win on the board. Unfortunately, Chicago moves to 0-4, so we'll see what happens to them moving forward.
Yeah, and I just looked it up, and Broncos have the 32nd defense right now.
Yeah, it is
so
literally the worst.
Yeah, so I guess they are the worst defense, and it could be inflated because of that Miami Dolphins game, but shit, I mean, when you're letting 70 points get scored on your head, I mean, you kind of deserve it. But yeah, all right. So next game, this one was pretty surprising. Well, you know what? I'm gonna put a little asterisk next to this game because we both picked the Browns to win, but late healthy scratch, Deshaun Watson was out. We got the news Sunday morning, and Dorian Thompson-Robinson ended up starting. And I've liked him. I liked him at UCLA. I was actually pretty excited to watch him. I actually ended up picking him up in fantasy to see if he balled out. He didn't. So I'm gonna put a little asterisk.
He looked great in preseason. We'll say that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna put a little asterisk next to this game. But we both picked the Ravens, unfortunately. And the Ravens just balled out, man.
You mean the Browns?
Oh, sorry. Yes, we both picked the Browns, and the Ravens balled out. Lamar looked good, man. He was actually throwing on the run, and he looked good. He looked like MVP Lamar, 2019 MVP Lamar. It was pretty good. The defense of the Browns got after him. Had a couple sacks, but I think they're the number one defense. I'm gonna look that up,
so.
But
I think that they are the number one defense.
So yeah, it was a great win for the Ravens. Browns. I'm really not gonna take too much away from this. You had a rookie quarterback playing.
You had
the
a
defense
quarterback.
Still,
Nick Chubb was out, so you're already missing pieces. So
yeah, the defense still looked good even in defeat. I mean, there's only so much a defense can do, but I'll say the Ravens look good.
Yeah, I think Mark Andrews had a day. Him and Lamar Jackson definitely had a day. Melvin Gordon, surprisingly enough, Old Man Rivers actually came to play a little bit today. Actually got utilized in the passing game as well. And, as a Chargers fan, I was very used to him like back in his prime. And he was a great running back for a couple of years before he started becoming made of glass. But, I'm kind of glad to see him actually being utilized in an offense and not just being on a practice squad because he does have talent. Baltimore's defense, they really flustered and really got after Dorian Thompson-Robinson. They were putting pressure on him all day. Patrick Queen had himself a day. Overall, just a great win for Baltimore. I wish that we would have seen Deshaun Watson because I feel like he has a little bit better command of this offense at this point in time. So yeah, maybe it would have been a different story, but either way, great win for Baltimore.
Yeah, not much else to take away from it. Let's get on to the next one. This one was one of the most surprising outcomes of the weekend. Goddamn. We both picked the Steelers to win, and they got absolutely cream pied by the Houston Texans. Houston Texans smacked them the fuck up 30-6, and holy shit, man. I think my feelings on the Steelers. I think they're mid. I think they're a mediocre team. They'll probably be 8-9, 9-8, whatever the hell, vice versa. Like they won't make it into the playoffs most likely, and it'll be a win for a season, I guess, but they'll still continue to be mediocre. They're kind of like a better version of the Patriots, in my opinion. But the Texans, man. I mean, we got started out with the quarterback, CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud looked great. He continues to look great. He's just slinging that rock. Threw for 300 yards, 306, 2 touchdowns. Nico Collins had himself a freaking game. And the defense balled out, dude.
Yeah. That defensive line got after Kenny Pickett left and right.
I do believe Kenny Pickett got hurt at the end of this game. I don't know how serious it is.
I think so as well.
Yeah, so, I think it's Mitch Trubisky time, at least for the temporary for the Steelers. But, man, the last couple games of the Steelers, week 1, they play the 49ers, whatever. Last 2 weeks, they had some good games. And the Steelers defense looked legit. And then boom, back to reality. I don't know. See, teams like this, I don't know what to make of because, it's the Texans. On paper, the Texans aren't that great of a team. They have one starter on offensive line. They have all these young players. They have a rookie quarterback, rookie head coach. It's just, maybe they're just all clicking and it's just divine,
intervention.
Intervention, whatever you want to call it. And it just all clicks and they're just a super team or whatever. But what do you think of the Steelers? What do you think of them?
It's very difficult for me to kind of put my finger on where I think they are at this point in time. Because like you already mentioned, 2 weeks, they looked great. Defensively, they looked elite. They go up against an offensive line that has barely anyone starting out there. And they did get pressure, but it felt like Houston's defense actually got more pressure on Kenny Pickett than Pittsburgh's defense got on CJ Stroud. And I know CJ Stroud wasn't perfect. He only completed, I think, 16 of his 30 passes, but still he was completing big time plays, and he got it to Nico Collins, Tank Dell a couple times. Dameon Pierce got going a little bit. And I don't know, man. It's challenging because maybe Houston's better than we think. It is tough to game plan for a rookie quarterback who you haven't seen a bunch of in the NFL. So the game plan can vary a little bit more drastically week to week than, say, a veteran that you've seen in the NFL for a longer period of time. But I don't know, man. Houston surprised me. I think that was a great win for them. Watch out for them. I think that they can be a little bit sneakier than I thought. They might play upset a little bit more consistently. And if CJ Stroud keeps playing the way that he is, I think that he's in contention for Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I agree with you. Just, to clarify on what the Steelers are, per PFF, the Raiders, the Steelers are 32nd in offense and then tied 7th for defense. So
wow. I didn't realize their offense was that bad. I think Najee Harris actually had a pretty decent day.
You know what? Thank you for bringing that up. Because I feel like maybe I haven't talked about it on this podcast too much, but in my mind, I've been shitting on Najee Harris because he looks slow. He looks like he's about to lose his starting job. And he actually had himself this looked like rookie Najee Harris. When he balled out, he looked good today. I think he was one of the best things about the Steelers today. So, but all in all, great win from the Texans. I think this is just I love D'Amico, former 49ers DC, and I love what he's doing over there. He's going home. He played for them. He's coaching. I love it, and the Texans, it's kind of like the Lions. You want these terrible teams to just eventually be good. You don't want them to be bad forever. That's fucking horrible. I mean, every team has their bad years, but jeez. All right, but yeah, great win for this Texans. Let's move on to the next game. Damn, this one was actually pretty entertaining. We had the Vikings beating the Carolina Panthers 21-13. We both picked the Vikings, and we barely got that pick by the hairs of our chins.
It did not look good in the beginning. I will say that. Carolina definitely started off on the right side of things with a pick six down in their own end zone. Kirk Cousins, I thought, all right, this is going to be the deal breaker. This is what gets him traded. But no, he ended up pulling through. Justin Jefferson had a good game. Alexander Mattison actually looked competent as a runner. Jordan Addison, was he even out there today? I did not see him.
I saw him out there.
I didn't see a single reception.
Yeah, he didn't get any receptions. I think, I think what happened is, from what I saw, like I wasn't paying super close attention to this game, but I saw him getting a little frustrated. I think it might have been like a coach benching, um, and kind of like you're not helping us out there, and he looked like he might have gotten some bad penalties, like if he would have kept it up, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
But yeah, the Vikings, man, they looked horrible. They looked horrible in the first half, and Kirk Cousins had 2 interceptions. A pick six. He looked so bad. This was definitely Kirk Cousins' worst game of the year so far. And he still won, and it's because they played Bryce Young. Honestly, and I don't fault.
God,
I do not fault the Panthers for playing Bryce Young. Like, this is what you do when you have a rookie quarterback. You have to get him reps. Like, if you're not like a contender, get him reps. Like don't pull a 49ers or whatever. But I think if Andy Dalton was in this game, I think the Panthers probably would have won this game, if I'm being completely honest.
I agree with that statement 100%. I think if Andy Dalton was in there, they probably would have won. Because, dude, Adam Thielen is actually like doing stuff as a receiver. Like old man River Thielen, he's getting it done. And apparently he's both of their best friends. Yeah.
Yeah. So, the Panthers had a valiant effort. Their defense is pretty legit. I want to see what their ranking is, but they play hard. I like the Panthers defense. And that, I think that's what gave
They're very
the Vikings,
scrappy, and that defensive line is very good as well. Sorry.
No, you're good. So the Vikings kind of got. Oh, they're only ranked 19th. Interesting. I thought they would be a little bit better than that. Probably just because from all the scoring, but they make stops. But the Panthers are still undefeated, or goddamn, they're winless. But the Vikings are not. They finally got their first win, and I don't know. I think the Vikings are probably the best mid team I've seen. Like, all that offensive firepower, and they'll probably miss playoffs. But way to get your first win, Minnesota. Let's move on to the next game, Dane. Let's
do it.
This game, in my opinion, was my favorite game to watch. I had a lot of players in this game in fantasy, and I think it was just very, very entertaining. And we both picked this game, and we barely got it. The Los Angeles Rams beat the Indianapolis Colts 29-23.
Yeah. We did pick this one correctly, which was great.
Yes.
Because it looked a lot more solid in the first half. I thought, oh man, this was a home run pick. And then second half rolls around, you're like, oh wait, what's happening? Am I watching the Chargers?
I think the Rams were up 23-0. And
let me check.
14-6.
Yeah, I think they were up.
Yep.
Yeah, 23. I think 23-0.
Yeah, and the Colts, man. If CJ Stroud wasn't around, Anthony Richardson would be my pick for offensive rookie of the year. He looks good. Like, and it's not just his rushing ability. He can actually throw. Like, he's got a strong arm. He's pretty accurate, in my opinion. Maybe I have to look at it closer, but just watching it from the top regular viewing, he looks pretty accurate. He's fun to watch. He's really fun to watch. But on the Rams side of things, Puka had himself a game. I'm glad I picked him up in all of my fantasy leagues. Kyren Williams had himself a game. And then Matthew Stafford.
Glad I picked him up in my fantasy.
Glad I picked him up in all of my fantasy leagues. I don't know how people let me do that, but I'll take it. And Matthew Stafford, he looked okay. He continues to turn over the ball. He I don't know. I don't know if I can call Matthew Stafford elite anymore. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he's in the elite tier anymore.
I think
But
he has potential for elite plays, but then that ultimately ends up costing them an interception or two.
yeah,
I think that's what I would categorize him as.
yeah. But this game did go to overtime, and the Rams, squeezed out a win. I mean, the thing that was really impressive to me is the Colts defense. The Colts defense is legit.
Yeah, I mean the Colts defense definitely stepped up in the second half. The first half, it was kind of the Rams kind of seemed like they were able to do whatever they wanted. They were kind of imposing their will, whether it was Kyron Williams, whether it was Puka Nacua, Tyler Higbee. He seemed to have a pretty good day as well. But I think for me, the biggest takeaway is when it came to crunch time, like when it really mattered and they needed to clutch up, the Rams had a long sustaining drive in overtime and didn't punt it, didn't do anything. They were able to lead it all the way down for a touchdown, which was awesome. And bro, Puka Nacua is what's going to happen now that Cooper Kupp's back? Like, how good is this offense going to be? Or is all the attention going to be focused on Cooper Kupp now? Like, is Puka Nacua going to be as good as he has been?
I think it's the best thing for them because, you got Puka and then you got Tutu and then Van Jefferson, but I'm not really like a huge Van Jefferson fan. But if you got Puka, Cooper Kupp, if he can play like he did 2 years ago, and then you got Tutu Atwell, and then Tyler Higbee, Kyron Williams, like this team might win a lot more games. Like I had a feeling the Rams would be a little bit better than we thought. They're just young. They have young players, and I really like Puka, man. Like I really do. He's balling out, and I think I don't think when Cooper Kupp comes, I'll say this. I want to believe that when Cooper Kupp comes all over me, that, Puka won't disappear, but Stafford does have a tendency to kind of hyper target a single wide receiver. I mean, that's kind of what's happening with Puka.
Puka is literally taking over the Cooper Kupp role. So
yeah. So if he can learn to distribute the ball a little bit more and, give it to Puka, give it to Cooper, give it to Tutu, give it to Tyler Higbee. I mean, everyone gets like a catch here and there, but like it's more like all the same player, if you know what I'm saying. But gritty win by the Rams. And I'm even in defeat, I'm pretty impressed with the Indianapolis Colts.
Agreed. I liked what I saw from the Indianapolis side. I think that they'll be fine. And, this is Anthony Richardson's first game back since his concussion. So he probably had to kind of get in the groove of things, which is maybe why the first half wasn't so great. But, Zach Moss looked good. I think they'll be fine.
All right, next game. We did not pick this game correctly at all. This game was weird. Derek Carr was supposed to be out. And he was out until Sunday morning, and then he decided that he was good to play. But regardless, he's a starter. Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the New Orleans Saints 26-9, and it wasn't close at all.
Baker Mayfield had himself a day,
dude. Right? I think this is the best I've seen Baker Mayfield play since his rookie year.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, like Mike Evans did go out with a hamstring injury. I don't know. He's kind of always dealt with hamstrings. So we'll see how long he's out. But I don't know, man. I like Baker.
Chris Godwin came in and balled out today. This is like the first coming out party of 2023 for Chris Godwin. I was like, where the hell has this man been? But he had himself a day. Rachaad White, he actually did pretty decent. They utilized him in the passing game and they utilized him on the ground. Baker Mayfield looked great. And this dude, Tampa Bay's defense, they stepped the F up. They were They were putting pressure down. They were breaking up passes. They were all over the place. They were getting after it. So kudos to them. I still think New Orleans defense played overall really well. I think that defensive line is their strong suit. Didn't get to see a fight between Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore. Yeah. But it was still dominant performance by Tampa Bay. Good for them.
Yep. And I hope they continue, because I kind of do like Baker. I don't know. I kind of like he got passed around like he's garbage, and I'm kind of rooting for him right now. Let's move on to the next game. This game we definitely did not pick. Well, actually, I definitely did not pick correctly. Tennessee Titans beat the Bengals 27-3. Dane picked this game correctly, and this game, okay. We were talking about this earlier, Dane. I'm sounding the alarm on the Bengals. I'm sounding the alarm on the Bengals.
Yeah, why did my alarm sound like an ambulance?
Sounded like SpongeBob. Yeah, the Bengals look like hot fucking garbage everywhere today. Defense, garbage. Joe Burrow, garbage. Wide receivers, garbage. Offensive line, garbage.
Oh man,
I don't know what happened to the Bengals. Because they're pretty much the same team, but like on paper, it looks like they improved on the offensive line, but it doesn't translate. Just like the year before when they got all these free agent acquisitions and it didn't translate again. What the hell, man? What the hell? I mean, there's more to talk about the negative sides of this game, but I'll let you take it from here. But what the fuck are the Bengals doing?
Yeah, I would sound the alarms a little bit as well. I don't know if I'm full-blown panic mode yet, but I will say that Joe Burrow's lingering calf strain is affecting this team, but the whole team has to play better in general. Like the wide receiving core, T. Higgins especially, the offensive line, they need to step the F up. The defense, they can make big time stops. Like they seem like they're good for a couple drives, and then they'll allow some big time plays. And it could be the fact that they're out on the field so consistently because the offense is not sustaining drives. Because whether it's Joe Burrow can't escape the pocket, whether he's getting blitzed, pressured, sacked, whatever it is, it's not looking good. And Tennessee's defensive line got after Joe Burrow this game. And I think Tennessee's defense in general just balled the hell out. And Derrick Henry had himself a day. I think this was the coming out party for Derrick Henry in 2023. It's good to see him kind of look how he's looked in the past. So overall, it was a dominant performance by the Titans.
I just want to give you some statistical information about the Cincinnati Bengals. Overall, per PFF, 30th ranked team. Offense, 31st ranked team. Defense, 62nd worst team. Special teams, 17th.
You said 62nd? Wait, what? What was their defense?
62nd. 22. 2-2.
22nd.
22nd.
Oh, I thought you said 62nd.
Nah, 22nd.
Okay. Dude, I thought you said 62nd twice.
Yeah, that's the Bengals have been like a top 5 offense the last 3 years. Been like a top 15 defense as well. And just complete 180 so far in the first quarter. It's a long football season. I still believe in Joe Burrow, but when I say I'm sounding the alarm, I mean, pick your shit up or you're going to miss the playoffs because you're in a competitive division and in an even more competitive conference. So, the Bengals keep playing like this, like they're going to let the Chargers make the playoffs. Sorry, Dane. But no shit. Like if the Bengals keep playing like this, they're going to let teams like the Chargers or the Jets make the playoffs. And not saying like those teams would be less deserving, but I mean, I think we both would agree that that we would at the beginning of the season thought that the Bengals would have been better. I mean, they were your Super Bowl pick.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they need
100%.
so they need to turn their shit around because it's not looking good so far. All right.
Agreed.
Yeah. So let's go on to the 1:30 slate. We'll start with my game. We both picked the 49ers to win. They beat the Arizona Cardinals 35-16. And, 35-16, it might look a little lopsided, but this game was pretty close, actually. It was close for they were within 5 in the third quarter. But, the 49ers, they're a good team. They do what good teams do to lesser opponents and beat them. Christian McCaffrey, holy shit. Holy freaking crap. Dude's an animal. This team, it's just clicking. Everything's clicking. Christian McCaffrey is the perfect running back for this team. I think Brock Purdy is the perfect quarterback for this team. Brandon Ayuk had himself a freaking baller of a game. Debo got some touches. He was dealing kind of with the injury. The defense, I kind of wanted the defense to step up a little bit more, but I'm going to give a little bit more credit to Josh Dobbs. I think he's actually playing really good.
And I would agree.
In my last power rankings, I ranked the Cardinals a little bit higher. And you're a little shocked, but they easily could be 4-0, and they could be 4-0, like legit. Like if they made a little bit more play, that's everything. But their first 3 games, they for sure could have won all those. This last one was a little bit more distant in the winning column for them, but the Cardinals are not what we thought they were at all. Like they are not laying down and dying. And I respect the fuck out of that. Shitty franchises tank, to be honest. Shitty franchises tank. If you want to build culture, if you want to build, that camaraderie with your players and your coaching staff, like you go out there to win games. And if you get last place, so be it. But they're fighting. They beat the Cowboys. They played a good game, a hell of a game against the 49ers. They played a hell of a game against the Giants, who were in the playoffs last year. Like I respect the Cardinals a lot this year. Like I'm very impressed with the Cardinals. And, I usually don't have a lot of good things to say about the Cardinals, but I am giving them their fucking flowers because they have impressed me in the first quarter of this season.
Yeah, and just to kind of touch on the Arizona Cardinals side of the ball, Michael Wilson, the rookie wide receiver from Stanford, he's actually playing really well. I was high on him after the Senior Bowl, but the only thing is he was constantly dealing with injuries. He's been healthy, knock on wood that he stays healthy, but he's kind of becoming a more consistent receiver for Josh Dobbs. And Josh Dobbs, like you said, he's not playing bad ball at all. He looks better than some of the starters that would typically be on other teams. So I've liked what I've seen. I think Jonathan Gannon's actually coaching this team pretty well, even though his motivational speeches don't really fire anyone up. But on the other side of the ball, they played the best team in football, in my opinion, in the San Francisco 49ers. Tough break. Like you already said, Christian McCaffrey, when Christian McCaffrey is healthy, he is probably the most versatile player in the NFL, and he is one of the most deadly players that you could have in your lineup. He just dealt with so many injuries in Carolina, but when he was out there, he was always feared, and he's showing it again why he was feared. He's just a beast. You can utilize him in the passing and the running game. Like you already mentioned, Brandon Ayuk, he had himself a game. Brock Purdy's still looking good. Brock Purdy still has not lost in the regular season at all in his career. So that's crazy to see. But yeah, great win for the 49ers. Glad to see the Cardinals are at least putting up fights.
One last thing. James Conner, you're a bitch. I don't know if you saw that fucking clip.
Yeah, with Talanoa Hufanga.
Yeah. James Connors is a chump. He can get fucked up. As far as I'm concerned, if I see that fool, it's on site. And all the 49ers community agrees. you got your ass beat and you want to be a little bitch like that, fuck you. So that's my little fucking rant for the day. But
I'm gonna have a little rant as well about a player in a game.
all right. Oh yes, sir. Well, let's get to that game next, Dane. Your
Let's do
boys,
it.
we both picked them. Hey, I actually picked them. I picked them,
They
and
actually won.
I do a confidence pool, guys, listening to this, and guys and girls, whatever. And 16 points. You go down and you pick your games. I picked the Chargers as my one because every time I pick them, they always lose. Every time I don't pick them, they win. So of course they win. Good job for the Chargers. They did win 24-17. And I'm gonna let you take this one away, Dan.
All right. This one was very interesting. Justin Herbert did a lot, but he didn't, because he didn't do a lot passing the ball, but he did a lot with his legs. He actually had 2 rushing touchdowns this game. He actually threw for 1 touchdown, which was awesome to see, that he's able to utilize his legs. Josh Kelly had a somewhat bounce back game. It wasn't pretty by any means, but he was definitely more effective in this game than he has been the last 2 games. The defense was the storyline for this one. Khalil Mack, 6 sacks in a single game. I think that's an all-time Chargers record, which is awesome to see. That was impressive.
It was like Bears Khalil Mack, bro.
Yeah, it was like seeing Khalil Mack back in his prime. And I think that there's something about the Raiders franchise and organization, because he did the same thing to them last year, the first game of the season. I think he had 3 sacks. So there's just something about playing the Raiders, the team that traded him away, that makes him want to just beat the living shit out of them. And I'm here for it.
So am I.
Yeah, 2 forced fumbles. We recovered both of them. Ended up leading to a touchdown drive, which was awesome to see. Asante Samuel Jr. clutching up for the interception at the last minute. But the thing that I want to talk about is, bro, Jerry Tillery is a piece. You talk about James Conner. Jerry Tillery is a piece of shit. A former teammate who made brisket for you, and you're going to take a cheap shot like that? Come on, man. Get the fuck out of here. And it's crazy to see all the fucking Chargers players like get up and like start attacking him, because it's like, bro, he was on your team last year. You guys all know him. So that's just fuel to the fire. I was ready. I was glad that he got ejected from the game. There's no need for that in the NFL.
I just want to touch on that real quick. I'm a Notre Dame fan. And, usually Notre Dame players hold themselves to a higher standard. They're always, you never have really any problems on the field. But him and Chase Claypool, as far as I'm concerned, are, shames of Notre Dame. Fuck you. I don't claim you anymore. That was bullshit. I'm maybe it's because you're a Chargers fan, you're my best friend, but I'm a huge Justin Herbert fan, and the way he took like 2 fucking steps out of bounds and he just wanted to rock him. Him. And I am happy that he got ejected, and I hope he pays a fat fucking fine. 6 figures.
Oh, shit. I mean, shit, man. It might as well be. But other than that, Justin Herbert injured again. That's kind of a storyline to be monitored, at least. Luckily for Chargers fans, it's on his non-throwing hand, and we are going into the bye this week. So kind of seems like the early bye came to help out the Chargers, surprisingly, because we were down Derwin James, Joey Bosa, Alohi Gilman, JT Woods, Corey Linsley, Mike Williams is out for the season. Like, we have like a list of people who are Austin Eckler. Like, we have a list of people who have not been playing. And so I think this bye actually came at a good time to kind of get them healthy. Hopefully Justin Herbert, hopefully it's just like a hyperextension. It seems like it's probably like dislocation or something like that. But other than that, may have not thrown for much, but clutch 3rd down in the last 2 minutes of the game to ice the game and put it in Josh Palmer's hands. Loved it.
Yep. Good win for the Chargers. Still don't think Brandon Staley's the answer for you guys. Especially after today. Like, I'm like analyzing your games more, and I just think the Chargers deserve so much better. I think Justin Herbert deserves so much better than Brandon Staley. They got Kellen Moore, and I think Herbert's kind of thriving in his offense. But maybe make Kellen Moore the head coach, or like you said, get Jim Harbaugh. I don't fucking know. If it goes more south for the Chargers, I really expect the Chargers to fire him.
Yeah, agreed.
All right, this next game we are really not going to have much to say about. We both picked it, so good for us. But the Dallas Cowboys absolutely cream pied the New England Patriots 38-3.
This was pathetic.
Yeah, it was a smackdown. The Dallas Cowboys, I think they were angry about that. Yep. They were upset about getting upset by the Cardinals, and they came back with a vengeance against the Patriots. The Patriots look for the first quarter competent on offense. You got the 3 points, and the defense looked good still on the Patriots for about the half, and then you get what happens to every defense when you're on the field 90% of the time. You get tired, and you just start breaking down. But the Cowboys defense is legit. They came back. Still not sold on the Cowboys offense. However, I mean, maybe it was because the Patriots defense is good. But they just looked a little off. But yeah, no, good win for the Cowboys, man. This is a bounce back statement win for them. I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, this is what the Cowboys needed, especially after having one of the most embarrassing losses to Arizona the week prior. It was good to see them bounce back. But yeah, I agree. I think New England does have a legit defense, so it kind of put things into perspective as to why maybe Dallas's offense didn't look as good as it has. But I do still have question marks with the coach, McCarthy. I don't know if he's the answer. I don't know if he's the one who should be making the play calls, but I also don't really like Dak that much as a quarterback. I think that he has talent, but I don't think that it's going to lead you to a Super Bowl. Unfortunately, that's just my opinion. But either way, great win for Dallas. I mean, this defense is going to carry them when they're actually prepared.
Let me ask you a question. How much longer?
What's up?
Do you think how much longer do you think Mac Jones has as a starter?
I give it a year. I think that they let him play the season unless he gets injured.
How much longer do you think Bill Belichick has with the Patriots?
I think this might be his last. I think if he does not make it to the playoffs this year, I think he might be out.
Yeah.
I can definitely see them moving on.
Yeah, I mean, they have a stout defense, but if you can't put points on the board and sustain drives, it's really nothing. Like even if you have a 6-minute, 7-minute drive, whatever. I mean, that's pretty long. If you have a 4-minute drive and it ends in 3, still that's a break for the defense. And then you can make turnovers and you're more fresh than you were if you were just 3 and out, pick six. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. It's kind of unfortunate, Bill Belichick is one of the GOATs. And I think just time is catching up with him, unfortunately. But good win for the Cowboys.
I agree.
And with that being said, we're on our last game of Sunday. This game was actually very entertaining. We both picked the Chiefs to win, and they did. It was a close game, though. Kansas City won 23-20, and I think I want to focus more on the Jets side of the ball.
Did we ever talk about the Commanders-Eagles game?
Holy crap. We did not. Rewind.
I don't think we did.
Sorry about that, guys. We did not talk about the Commanders-Eagles game. We both picked the Eagles, and they won by the hairs of their chinny chin chin, 34-31 in overtime.
Very close game.
Yeah, and, Eagles, they have not really been impressing me that much. Like, I know they're on paper a good team. I know they still have, you know, a lot of pieces from that Super Bowl team last year, but Jalen Hurts has not been the same passer as he was last year. I don't think he was that great of a passer last year. And I'm not trying to talk shit about Jalen Hurts. I like Jalen Hurts as a player. I liked him, and you know, I like his whole story. Whatever. But when your best play is a 1 yard brotherly push or whatever the hell they're calling it now, that's his best play. That's his best play. Let's be honest. That is his best play. I don't think he's quite the runner he was last year. He doesn't seem to, you know, go for that extra yardage, which, you know, he's one of the richest players in the NFL now. So I guess, you know, it comes with the territory. But, you know, the passing really isn't there. And I don't know if it was the Washington Commanders defense, you know, which I like to think highly of with all the players that they have on there, but sometimes they just don't perform. But they just, you know, the Commanders really brought it to them, and it could have been the divisional game. I don't know. It was a close game, and I don't think the Commanders are on the Eagles level, but they definitely played like it today, and they almost beat them.
Yeah, I think this is more of the Eagles playing down to their competition's level. I think the Eagles on paper are way more talented. They have a lot more like key positions, like premium positions that are more talented. And that defensive line for the Eagles, I think, is elite. I think the defensive line of Washington's really good. But I do agree, even though Jalen Hurts, he passed for 319 yards, 2 touchdowns, it seems to be more of like the deep bombs that have connection that are kind of like cushioning his stat line a little bit. He doesn't look the same passing it. I agree 100% with the running efficiency. He is not using his legs the way that he used to. But I think this could also be a result a little bit of the offensive coaching change. You know, they have a new offensive coordinator. They had a new defensive coordinator. So maybe it's just taking a little bit more time for Philadelphia to put it all together. But either way, they got it done against a division opponent. And we have seen Washington's offense look good against other teams. So Sam Howell had a down game against Buffalo, whether that's a testament to just an off week or just Buffalo's defense being legit. Who knows? But good win for Philadelphia. I liked what I saw from Washington as well. I think Sam Howell played really well. Brian Robinson got going. And Terry McLaurin, he looked really good. So,
you know, it doesn't really show up on the stat sheet, but Antonio Gibson looked good on a couple plays when he actually got the ball. I don't know what the hell he has to do to get the ball more, but I think maybe hold on to the ball. You know, I think he does have a fumbling problem, but, you know, he can make special things happen if he were to get going, I believe. But, yeah, good win for the Eagles. Tough, gritty win. They are, you know, with the Dolphins going down, they're one of the last 2 teams, them and the 49ers, that are undefeated. So we'll see who lasts the longest. All right, fast forward back to Sunday night. Kansas City beat the Jets 23-20. We both picked them. And, you know,
this was a weird game.
Yeah, I want to talk more about the Jets side of the ball. I think Zach Wilson probably had his best game so far this year. Maybe he had a better game last year, maybe the year before. Maybe it's just so clouded with bad games that I can't remember. But so far this year, this was the best game that Zach Wilson has played. You know, and even Coach Saleh came out and said if he plays like that, you know, we're going to win a lot more games. So the defense is still pretty legit. You know, the Chiefs had a tough time against them. Patrick Mahomes threw a couple interceptions. He didn't look like his normal self. Where he did shine, though, and where he broke the backs of the Jets is in his scrambling ability. That's kind of what separates, you know, when everything else fails, you know, these elite quarterbacks, you know, the Herberts, the Mahomes, the Josh Allens, the Lamars, when the play breaks down, they have the ability to rush, and it's a backbreaker. Like 3rd and 16 and you get the first down, like that's such a freaking demoralizing feeling when a quarterback rushes for that. But Isaiah Pacheco is a crazy runner. He's wild, dude. He runs so hard. He runs harder than anyone I've ever seen watching football. Like I've watched football since
he runs hard too.
Dude, he looks like he just sniffed those what are those freaking smelling salts and he freaking rushes down there and freaking like his head cut off and he just wants to run hard. That run that he did, that freaking, I don't remember, I was like 60 yards or something like that. I mean, he rushed for 115, but that run was it was so fun to watch. It was Isaiah Pacheco is one of my favorite players to watch. Like he's just fun. Like he's fun. He looks like he's having a good time, doing push-ups on the field or whatever. But it wasn't that bad of a game for the Jets. I'm not gonna freaking talk too much shit. I mean, it's the Chiefs. I think they had a chance. I think the Jets had a chance to win. What do you think?
Yeah, I was actually impressed with Zach Wilson today. This is comparative to how he's performed previously. This was his best game. He still had a crucial mistake by taking his eyes off the ball during the snap and then fumbling the ball away. And I think that was where he kind of lost his momentum, maybe where the team it was the straw that broke the camel's back. I think that was the last piece, because at the beginning of the second half, he came out and went 5 for 5 and led a touchdown drive, like 75 yards, looked great. He was doing an awesome job. And then first quarter looked like shit. They were down 17-0 at one point, and then they ended up tying it up 20-20. So they definitely came to play. And I liked the support that I was seeing for Zach Wilson. I feel bad for the kid because, I mean, he's getting like booed left and right. And I get it because you're the second overall pick and like you haven't really met expectations. You get Aaron Rodgers, you trade draft capital away for Aaron Rodgers. You're expecting a Super Bowl, and then you're left with the dumpster fire that is right now. But I think that there is stuff to build from this game for the Jets and build from some momentum, because they almost beat the Chiefs and they got after Patrick Mahomes. The defense stepped up, and when Zach Wilson was playing good, it seemed like the defense was playing better. So a lot to take away from this game for the Jets, I think, in a positive light. And, Patrick Mahomes, I do want to say this, Chris Collinsworth, my God, bro, we get it. You love Patrick Mahomes. Get his, oh, God, it is constant.
And also to piggyback on that, the Taylor Swift shit needs to stop already. I'm so over it. Like, I get it. She's a pop star. She makes great hits, whatever. But I don't fucking watch football to see Taylor Swift every freaking other play. I watch football to watch football because I love the sport. All right. And I want to see someone get cracked. That is why I watch football.
Brain damage.
It just needs to end because the dick sucking of Mahomes and the freaking constant ogling, whatever the hell of Taylor Swift is just, it's already old and it's week 4. So please.
Yeah, it's literally only the second game that she's been at a game for the Chiefs. And it's just every chance they get, they'll pan to her. Oh, there's Taylor Swift again, cheering on Travis Kelce. Oh, my God.
400% increase in jersey sales.
Dude, how crazy would it be though if it was like say like a rivalry game, so like a Chargers Denver Raiders game, and Travis Kelce like snaps his leg in half, and then they pan to Taylor Swift and she's just like
or
them showing her then.
Or Taylor Swift dumps Travis Kelce for Justin Herbert.
Oh my. Bro, I think Justin Herbert smokes pole. I don't know.
I will say, off topic, but I do like the Subway commercials with him and Mahomes. They're pretty funny. Have you seen them?
Oh yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, they're funny. But that's Thursday through Sunday night. We still have one more game. Thank God we do not have a doubleheader. And then after that, we are going to do our power rankings for week 5. Unfortunately, I didn't get to making a reel for week 4 because Dan never sent me his power rankings, but it's all good. It's all good, dude. It's all good.
Fuck, that is on me. That is on me.
It's all good. I really don't care. But you know,
It's
yeah,
fine.
Dan, it's cool, dude. Whatever, dude. You got anything else to say, Dan?
No, I don't think anyone's listening at this point anyway. So, guys,
Maybe they are.
if you are
Maybe
here,
they
what the
are.
fuck you doing with your lives? Go to bed. Stop listening
Yeah.
to us.
Or
we
get to
appreciate it
work.
if you are listening.
Hopefully, you're,
Like, comment,
hopefully you're
subscribe.
listening.
Yeah.
hopefully you're listening
to
to this
work.
on the way to work or something. All right, I'm gonna close this out. Thank you for listening, and as always, peace.